reading here for the first time, although after having been here a few times in other readings.
Woohoo!
I'm going to start with this one. This is called Why We Call Them the Blue Angels. Show-offs display in their hubris. They hijack the skies for the usual egomania of the ugliest of us, while they fancy themselves starring in some remake of Top Gun. All same moods in the feeling many shades of blue. So why the name of angels? Really? What did you expect for them to dub themselves? Bologna for sale. Obama's been in the Kool-Aid again. The Blue Line's been shedding crocodile tears, playing sad songs on their millimeter vials about how they're now stalked by those they've long stalked. So he signs into law an Amber Alert for cops. Amber Alert for cops. Trust every oppressor to project themselves as victim as soon as they're exposed for what they perpetrated. We all know what the real victims would call this one. One would think if the lines wanted to hear salami, salami, bologna, they'd have enough sense to visit the corner meat market. Only problem is they'd have to blurt it out themselves, and that would mean exposing their own hyperbole, especially with the bologna. Oh, where are the mules for a red alert for the rogues among their bunch, or a missing alert for their own common sense? The original World War. One follower comes along, makes a gesture of sorts, says, "Praise to my deity, tis the greatest one of all." Another comes along, makes a gesture of sorts, says, "Praise to my deity, tis the greatest of all." A third comes along, makes a gesture of sorts, says, "All praise to my deity, it's the supreme one of all." A fourth comes along, makes a gesture of sorts, says, "Sing praises to my deity, tis the mightiest of all." And all this continues a similar effect. Then all you know what begins to percolate. What do you mean your deity? My deity is the greatest of all. What sacrilege? Mine is the greatest deity. You're both wrong. Mine is the omnipotent deity. Says you, you'll all burn in Hades at the feet of my deity. None of your deities can compare with mine. Blasphemer, sinner, infidel. Needless to say, before too long, a battle of all with many fronts has occurred. It continues into the nights and days, the weeks, the months, years, decades, and centuries, and so forth, and on, and sadly it continues to this day. And one can't help but surmise to oneself whether countless distances above the continual war, the various deities who have been referred to by our warriors below are shaking their heads with resignation and sympathy as they discuss amongst themselves this well-worn query: what have we done to deserve these for our followers? Addicted to crackdowns. Do you have a craving to punish simply because you can? Do you desire death penalty for looking out of the ordinary? Does the notion of collective punishment send you into ecstasy? Do you crave fantasies of maximum security prisons for accidental littering? If any of the above describes you, you may be addicted to crackdowns. But not to worry, we have a brand new group for you, Crackdownies Anonymous, and you need not worry about the acquisition of your identity on the part of our organization. Of course, we cannot assume responsibility for your identity being revealed by your own blatant acts of your addiction. Crackdownies Anonymous is especially recommended for bosses, parents, police, judges, prosecutors, presidents, governors, school superintendents, principals, and administrators of all stripes, and anyone else drunk under authority. Crackdown addiction is not easy to overcome, needed the most sought after and popular addiction by far. Having long surpassed love addiction in its appeal and food addiction in its difficulty to overcome, other addictions trail far behind. Crackdownies Anonymous is still in its infancy, hence studies have yet to be completed concerning its effectiveness. However, the time is long overdue for an organization such as this. Our prisons, shelters, and asylums have for far too many casualties of crackdown addiction, and there are many casualties on the street as well, and you may already be one of them. Never mind knowing one. Join Crackdownies Anonymous. Crack down on crackdowns.
Thank you, Fred. Yeah, thank you.
One reason. Now, just please let me know when I've got time, just enough time for one more.
Okay.
Garrett, you're fabulous. I love your work.
Well, thanks very much. Hopefully, because I do have some books for sale myself, the latter two that was mentioned in the introduction, and hopefully I'll be fascinating enough that someone will want to buy. What's new, Pussy Riot? What's new for Pussy Riot, or is it so new? Certainly not to those wild women who run with the wolves and done the equivalent of relief on the symbol of power. Prison time for 3, pounding for 2 others for performance art in a church. But of course, in churches to engage in forms of performance art on a very routine basis, particularly on the Sabbath, but don't pass that one on. Perhaps if they had called themselves Doggy Riot, but that would have been also such an oxymoron for the canine, domesticated what else, that Putin and the church clearly prefer, would have been also obedient like a good girl should. But that's no doubt not new for Pussy Riot. Pussy Riot, all the same, salute you and applaud you for speaking and performing truth to power, and hopefully that info is not so new for you either. Private Eye. Here we go for only the multi-zillionth time ever. We bring you the great discovery of privatization. Yes, privatization, the world's greatest discovery of all time, better than the wheel, better than learning to read, for performance art in a church. Then altruism, then the discovery of fire, then the entry into space, and especially and even democracy itself. Privatization enables you to acquire all you can own for your exclusively optional use. Your booty is not just in good hands, it's in your good hands. So 3 cheers for the ability to privatize, sing praises for the ability to possess, and should others object, well, it is your property. You can toss them out on the slightest whims, or better yet, not even allow them in the first place. Your private sector is yours and yours alone to decide who goes in and who goes out, or not at all. The next best thing to your very own kingdom, and it can be built into almighty an empire. And remember, just remember, Woolworths was also a private domain.
One more minute. You got one more, Garrett.
Halloween Blues. Coming in as a power broker, showing up as domestic or soldier, arriving as a delivery person, be it mail, milk, or plumbing, whatever. A doctor, lawyer, or officer, even in a NATO suit and tie, and cap and gown, they think it's a necessary part of living. Not to worry, you only have to wear it 364 days a year.
Yes.